Sorry, guys. We're doing this live. Can you tell? Thanks for bearing with us. Oh, man. Welcome to the show. This is What a Relief, a comedy show supporting healthcare workers. If this is what you planned on watching, congrats. You're in the right place. If you were looking for relief from hurting teeth, which is a real YouTube video with more than 9 million views, you can keep scrolling. I have a few friends here with me tonight. You've heard them laugh at my very early mistakes. Thought I would get those out of the way very quickly. It won't happen again. Yeah, speaking of friends, I've been working on making new friends in 2020. Well, I was, until the coronavirus showed up, but even before this mess, it's like really hard to make friends when you're an adult, so if anybody knows how to make friends when you're in your 30s and married without coming across like a swinger, I advice in the comments. I just don't want people to think it's like a surprise wife swap situation or something like that. To be clear, it's not that I don't get people who are poly or whatever. I don't, but that's not really what this is about. I just don't want people to get the misconception that I'm comfortable with any more people seeing me naked. I'm just looking for friends, and I'm hardly comfortable with the one person. But yeah, a lot of friends are here with me tonight. We've got a really great lineup for you. Thanks for folks who are still tuning in. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, though, killer lineup. We've got Tony Castleberry. We've got Brett Williams. We've got Elisse Thompson. We've got Jordan Hale. We have Merdith Armstrong. We have Jeremy Alder. And got a lot more people joining us online, it looks like. So again, welcome to folks tuning in from all over the place. We appreciate you. Love seeing the comments. It's hilarious. Thanks for joining virtually, as it were. Usually I get to see your faces, and I can kind of pressure stare into at least some kind of pity chuckle. So when I look into the camera directly, you'll know that's what I'm aiming for. And we really do miss our local comedy clubs, dive bars and breweries where you might have caught us pre-Rona. But I gotta be honest, I don't hate online comedy shows, The drinks are a lot cheaper here. I'm a lot closer to my living room right now. So are you, it turns out. I found with the live from home comedy shows, a lot less people notice if I'm not wearing pants. Is a really nice change for me. And I can totally bomb, as usual, and nobody notices. I mean, I don't notice. But in reality, doing comedy on the internet is really hard. I think we've all definitely gained an even larger respect for folks who have been doing this for a while, because it's super hard. Comedy dies in a vacuum that doesn't have laughter. Like 2 weeks without hearing a laugh, and it was really rough. It was so bad that I actually resorted to hosting an online comedy show on YouTube. And here we are. So this is the housekeeping section of the show, where I lay down the rules and vamp so people can continue to join us on the internet. This is usually where your host would tell you where the bathrooms are, ask you to keep conversations to a minimum, and like that you should be a decent human being, and by that I mean tip your wait staff. But since this show is coming at you through thin air magic, which is what I call the internet, the instructions are pretty simple. First of all, please bear with us. I told some people that this wouldn't be an entirely kid-friendly show, but it might have a certain rating. And then I went ahead and screwed that up right off the bat. So if everything with the technology goes right, my husband owes me $50, so I've really got a real stake in making this work. But there are no guarantees that there won't be some serious snafus. Yeah, but really, we're doing our best to deal with the challenges of internet connection, video quality, and telling jokes with no laughs. Thankfully, we have our comics here that you can hear giving me the old pity laugh, as well as a couple of our closest friends. So appreciate that. And thanks for your patience as we work this out. Have fun. I hope you do. Our primary goal with this event was to give our community a laugh right now. The recommendations that you guys have already given are just a bonus, but we want to offer some stress relief, give folks a chance to relax and have a good time. So please enjoy yourselves. If you're not enjoying yourselves, there's probably something else out there for you. Thanks for tuning in. If you are having fun, please, this is critical. Share your comments and your ha-ha-has in the comments on the YouTube video. If you happen to know any of tonight's performers, you may already know, as I've alluded to, that stand-up comics need all the validation that we can get. And we can't hear you laugh out loud. So we are having a really tough time. So, share your ha-ha-has, we appreciate it. We crave it desperately. And finally, donate if you're able. If you're generous, please think about dropping us a few bucks. You can pay on Venmo at Ashley is Funny. That's Ashley spelled the right way. Funds raised from this show will go to our local healthcare workers, their families, and our fabulous comics that are on tonight. And I can't express how thankful we are for all the support that we've had thus far. So on behalf of the amazing and strong and just unparalleled healthcare workers that I have the pleasure of working with, thank you on behalf of all those crazy people. So yeah, we're a little long-winded, but there's the rules. Have fun, share your ha-ha-has, and donate if you can. Yeah, that seems like enough of that. What do you think? Shall we get with the show? Guys, your first comic of the night is a guy named Tony Castleberry, and Tony has spent a lot of his career in what used to be known as the newspaper business. If you're unfamiliar. You can find Tony on Twitter and Instagram at Tony Castleberry. That's Tony like the tiger, castle like the fortress, and berry like the fruit. You can tell by his name that Tony Castleberry is the heir to some kind of serial fortune, I guess. Anyway, without further ado, live from Raleigh, North Carolina, I am happy to share with you Tony Castleberry.
All right. Thank you. Hope everybody can see and hear me okay. Since there are healthcare professionals watching, instead of telling jokes, I just want to ask each of you one question. Are you okay? It seems like it might be kind of bad. I'm scared. I imagine we're all pretty scared, but once it became clear this was a pandemic, I immediately switched into survival mode. And survival mode for me is eating or drinking something every 15 minutes, having nachos for breakfast. That's how I survive, you know. I have been making my own meals during quarantine, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 hours to get the food ready. They're 30-minute meals, but it takes me that long. You understand? I also have a sweet tooth. I love sweets. For anybody wondering if a sugar addiction can get exponentially worse during a pandemic, I'm here to tell you, yes, it can. I started drinking root beer and eating donuts every day. You know, surviving. Some people are using this time to write or work on home improvement projects. I've mostly been working on my body. I'm working on making it bigger and softer. An egg shape is what I'm going for. I'm doing great. I'm literally rounding into shape. It's perfect. I heard a radio ad touting the nutritional benefits of pork skins. Maybe it is time for the human experiment to end, you know? I think we might be done. I eat pork skins, but I've never opened a bag and thought, these will be a good source of protein. I eat pork skins for the same reason anybody does, because I hate myself. Stay in your lane, pork skins. I have a pretty extensive substance abuse history. And I'm sure you've heard or read how tough isolation can be for recovering addicts. That's definitely true. I have felt tempted to drink and use, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and nothing is more desperate than non-alcoholic beer.
No!
When nothing else matters, Coors Edge. We romanticize alcohol a lot, including in the titles of movies. These are actual names of documentaries about alcohol. How Beer Saved the World. Neat, The Story of Bourbon. Scotch, A Golden Dream. Documentary titles about my drinking wouldn't sound so hopeful. Mine would be Neat, I Have a Problem. Tequila, you won't remember any of this. Jägermeister, just do heroin. My closest friend, a guy I've known for almost 30 years, this is a true story, checked himself into alcohol rehab on Monday. Always a thrill seeker, this guy. Oh, there's a pandemic. I'm going to detox. I may never see him again. Good luck, buddy. I hope he's doing okay. A couple days after the lockdown started, during my daily walk around the neighborhood, I was adhering to social distancing guidelines when all of a sudden a woman ran past me so close that she almost brushed my left shoulder. I wanted to yell at her to keep her distance, but she was Asian. And I realized in that moment that I would rather die than be perceived as racist. So kept my mouth shut. Time alone has given me the opportunity to ask myself some important questions like moths or butterflies. It's butterflies, right? They're colorful. They float around. They don't have a suicidal attraction to light bulbs and flames. I think the real reason we dislike moths, though, is because a moth is almost math. Oh. It's also almost meth. Math, meth, moth? No, thank you. No, thank you. The weed I buy has nutritional facts on the packaging, including the THC concentration. Who decides that number? Because in my mind, in order to determine the THC content, you'd have to use the product. And if you're using that product, can you really trust your math? Or your moth? Could a stone person be expected to calculate something as precise as 0.6%? That joke proves that I am bad at math and probably addicted to marijuana. So welcome to my digital intervention, everybody. Thank you. This is happening at a perfect time. Kick booze, kick drugs, die of coronavirus. Solid timeline, Tony. Way to go. I had a daily cocaine habit for a couple years. And like most coke addicts, I just love the stuff. Big fan. I like chopping it up, forming the line, snorting it, smoking it. I haven't used it in over 7 years, but I think deep down, a part of me still likes it. Before a show a couple months ago, a guy was talking to me about his childhood. And when he mentioned he grew up in a crack house, I said, "You lucky bastard." Sounds like paradise. People always talk about the downside of using cocaine. You usually only hear the negative stuff. But without cocaine, I would have never worked up the courage to steal from my family and friends. Cocaine made that possible. Live your dreams. Before stand-up got shut down, my therapist came to see me perform. She sat in the front row and told me after the show she thought I did a great job. It was the best therapy session ever. Turns out the key to my happiness is her paying to see me. It's a neat little twist. My favorite part of that joke is lying to everybody about doing paid shows. Comedians really enjoy that joke. This is the last thing I have. I was driving to a show in Asheville, North Carolina, and I saw a huge Confederate flag flying just off of I-40. The flagpole was just out on a piece of land, but there were some small businesses nearby, and I was wondering, do they use that as a landmark when they're giving people directions? Yeah, head up Main Street about half a mile, turn left at the massive symbol of racism and hatred, and we'll buzz you right in. Thank you for choosing Papa John's. I'm Tony Castleberry. Thanks for doing this, and give some money if you can. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tony. Amazing. Wow. A wild ride. Yeah. Tony's talking about his softer, rounder bod, you know, his dad bod, as it were. And it's funny, there's a bit of a double standard there. You know, the dad bod is fine, but you don't really hear people embracing the mom bod. And I don't have kids, but I'm afraid I'm starting to develop a little bit of a mom bod. And I know this because I happen to be with my own mother, and recently we were out when you could still do that. And I happened to decline an alcoholic beverage, and she got very excited. Put her hand on my stomach and gasped. God, pregnant? And yet again, I had to disappoint my mother by telling her, no, Mom, just fat. I'm ready for another disappointment. Trying to work off the mom bod. It's fine. Anyway, let's keep it going. I have another comic for you guys. She recently returned from a tour in Europe, and we'll find out just how cultured she got when her lab test results get back. Brett Williams is coming up for you. You can check out Brett, what she has going on her Facebook page, Brett Williams, comedian. Coming at you live from a pretty safe distance, Brett Williams.
Hello. Woo. Hello. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. I got my dog. I got a dog. Say hi, Pixie. Can you guys hear me? I don't even know. Okay. I'm doing this on my phone. I don't know. Apparently Europe hasn't taught me very much. They don't have phones in Europe. So hello. So this is my dog. This is Pixie. She's cool. All right. I've spent a lot of time with that dog recently. So this is I'll sing you guys a song just to hear my own voice again. So this song is actually the first song that I ever wrote, my first comedy song. I hope you guys like it. It's a love song. You ready? Here we go. I don't know why I'm laughing. I saw you standing by the pool, getting real hot, but looking so cool. I'm pretty sure that you live next door, 'cause I've seen you around before. And see, there's been something on my mind, but I was waiting for a sign, and now I think it's time. I ran over your cat last week. Really all you can say. I ran over your cat last week. And then I picked it up and threw it away. And then I'm staring down the street. Because really it was almost dead. Glad we got a chance to meet. Yeah, really sorry about that. Thank you. Don't need to applaud. I was gonna do my sing-along song, but that would be stupid. All right. So I'll just sing a different one. So this next song is another love song. I only write love songs, and this one is about all the men that I've dated. And true story, I introduced that song one time at a comedy show when they used to have I introduced it like that, and this woman in the front row goes, "How long is the song?" It is long, but you didn't have to say it like that. All right, so so this next song is a song about all the men I've dated. I have this habit, well, it's more like a curse from all across the known universe. Sooner or later, someone always gets hurt. Whoa, always gets hurt. So don't date a superhero. Superheroes never date a superhero. Superheroes never date a superhero. Spider-Man's pickup lines are pretty fly. He could sweep me on my feet and barely had to try, but he'd never comfort me whenever I would cry. Also, he was radioactive. Batman had a problem with communication. He only understood echolocation. Deadpool was a tool who lacked tactile sensation, and I don't even think he was single. Did you see the movie? Superheroes never date a superhero. Superheroes never date a superhero. I had to let Ant-Man down gently. I just can't date a guy who's shorter than me. And Groot was really just a tree whose best friend gave me rabies. I had known Wolverine since he was just a pup, and I'm pretty sure Magneto voted for Trump. Professor Xavier wasn't kind of a slump. Ha, get it, because he's paraplegic. Superheroes never need a superhero. Superheroes never need a superhero. Beast Boy was always horny, the Flash was so corny, the Hulk's pants were always torn, and he looked through Thor's history. Man's food wasn't edible, Frozone was too incredible. Superman had a crazy phobia of emeralds. I hope this all makes sense. See, there's really too much violence. You want to date a hero, please? Just stick to a fireman or a nurse. That's pandering. Dating a superhero is kind of a bust, even though you'd think it'd be marvelous. That pun was the whole reason I wrote that song. I really love it. Was always just lust. I kind of a thing for types. All right. Nominated. Thank you, everyone. So this last song that I'm going to sing for you is another love song, and it is about love at first sight, and it's called Ben, and some of you know it. So, Merdith. All right, here we go. I'm in an apartment complex, so I hope no one calls anybody on me. All right. All right, here we go. I called you on the phone 'cause I've been so alone. I've been so very blue, but then I talked to you. Now I see I don't have to be, 'cause you're here with me. I know it's true. Can someone stop tapping on on their keyboard. I'm singing my heart out here. Let me go back. I know it's true that bet I love you. Oh, won't you be mine and stay forever? And all of the time and say that you love me. Please give me your sign, 'cause I'm in love with a guy at the suicide hotline. Oh, Benny, baby, my head is such a blur. You drive me crazy, well, crazier, and you won't regret, 'cause this is not a threat, and you can bet I'll really do it. Oh, Ben, I love you. Won't you be mine and say, don't do it. Just one more time and say that you love me. Please give me a sign, 'cause I'm in love with a guy at the suicide hotline. It gets worse. I called 10 times today just to hear your voice. They wanna put me away, but it's not my choice. So baby, don't be shy when I'm 20 stories high and I won't comply. It's I love you. We're two of a kind. No, you say you can't help me. If I made up my mind, just say that you love me. Please give me a sign, 'cause I'm in love with a guy at the suicide hotline. It's so hot. Fell in love in a hopeless place. Fell in love in a hopeless place. At the suicide hotline. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you, Brett. Amazing.
Thank you. Incredible.
Advice, a little tune. Never date a superhero. I'm going to take that to heart. Solid advice. Personally, I've never had the opportunity, though I wouldn't turn it down. Guys, before we move on, if you are not following Brett on Facebook, I'm going to share the link right now. If you like some of her darker stuff, you've got to follow her. I insist that you follow her if you're into that kind of thing. You can find more opportunities to see her there. Be on the lookout for the pretty explicit description of what she considers to be the perfect man. Some of her best work. Can y'all imagine dating right now? What is going on out there? Some friends who are doing online dating still, or, you know, as it's become known, dating in the time of Corona. And I can't imagine. What a nightmare. I got locked down early enough to never have done any online dating. But I do think it would be really fun to like make a dating profile and get some good photos and take the quizzes and stuff. And I think online dating really seems like a lot of fun, which is one of the pretty obvious ways you know that I have never done it. I hear that it's mostly nightmares. So I'm sorry about that. For those of you that are going through that now more than ever, I apologize. A lot of the online dating horror stories that I hear are actually from our next comic. Elisse Thompson, she hosts a monthly comedy show at Bull City Cider Works with that's in Durham with Eyes Up Here Comedy. The Fresh Face Showcase, it's called, usually takes place on the last Wednesday of each month. And if I've got that wrong, I'm sure that Elisse will correct me. So hopefully there'll be one next month in May. But do check out Eyes Up Here Comedy on Facebook to stay tuned for news about, to stay tuned to news, for news, stay tuned about their shows, like Fresh Face Showcase. So without further ado, the person in this show who is most likely to be an undercover fairy, you'll get it. Elise Thompson, everybody.
She ain't fooling nobody.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm on my phone as well, so that's why I'm super close to you guys. But Ashley, you did not want an online date. You do not. I got locked down a little more than a year ago. Praise God. I'm so over it. But I also have 2 little dogs, so if they do bark, I apologize. Part of the manic pixie dream girlness is always owning poodles. So my Lily barked earlier. I apologize, but they should be okay. So Tony was talking a little bit about his sugar addiction, and I think he was eavesdropping on my writing earlier, but I realized that I also, in this quarantine, I also have a sugar addiction. And the thing that bothered me the most about it is that I didn't realize it, and I've been such a hypocrite, you guys. I'm the girl in the office with the candy bowl. Does everybody know that girl? The girl who always brings in candy. And it's because I learned very early that in order to get people to like you, all you have to do is give them candy and they love you, right? So when I'm the new person in the office, I don't have to walk around and introduce myself. I just bring in a bag of Reese's, sit it on the table on my desk, and just let people come to me. It's the lazy girl's way of networking, right? But the biggest thing that happened all the time was that people would come up to me and be like, I don't know how you do it. I could never sit here with this candy all day. I would eat all of it. They'd be taking 5 pieces of it while they're telling me this. And I was like, oh, I could sit here all day. I don't even have to have it. I don't have it in a week. I can go a whole month without having it. I was very smug. You guys, that was a lie. That was such a lie. I've been quarantined for about a month now, and I have a sugar addiction. It's real. It led me the other night to scrounging through my freezer like a rabid raccoon to look for one of those skinny cow ice cream bars from 2 summers ago, whenever I was on the walk. It was covered with freezer burn, and I ate it anyway. I can't. It's terrible. So I got an Instacart delivery today, and guess what she brought me? Actually, I haven't eaten any of them yet, so I might just sit them here and see how long I can really go. But it's rough. It's not good. So I take back anything I ever said about sugar addictions. The second thing that I've learned about myself, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection during this quarantine, and I learned that I am very privileged and very spoiled. So I just talked about Instacart, I've had my groceries delivered. I'm very high risk, so I don't go out and try to expose myself to the virus. My mother tracks my phone, so if I step out of the house, she text messages me, what are you doing? Get back in. I can't. It's not. I'm 37 years old, folks, but that's 100% true. So I can't do it. So I have my groceries brought to me. I have people who go out and risk their lives to bring me Reese's cups. So just for a second, I just want to appreciate everybody that this show is for tonight, and everybody who's doing things like delivering groceries, delivering food. It's great. It's so helpful, and we really appreciate it. But I'm spoiled. And despite the fact that I have a lovely house to live in and lovely little dogs, you have to have something to complain about, because that's what humans do, right? So the woman brought my groceries today from Instacart, and the problem I have with that is that she brought me the wrong kind of frozen vegetables, you guys. I wanted the Asian medley with corn and snap peas, the good kind, right? She brings me the Italian medley with cauliflower in it. No, there's not enough cheese in the world to make me want to eat cauliflower. Cauliflower has had the most glow up in the last 5 years than anything else that I can think of. And it's terrible. Cauliflower is if broccoli disappointed its parents and started doing that. That's what it tastes like. I'm not eating it. So if anybody wants an Italian medley with cauliflower in it, I'll mail it to you. It'll be melted, but It'll probably not have any germs. So it's just the worst. And the third thing that I'm really learning about myself during this quarantine, I'm going to say 4 words, and I can't believe they're coming out of my mouth. And those words are, I miss the gym. I miss the gym. Who am I? I never thought that I would say those words in my entire life. I used to, back when we could, went to the gym a couple times a week and did a weightlifting class. And I've realized that I have zero motivation to do that outside of the gym. I literally need an instructor in my face yelling at me, like, pick up the weights. I need her to tell me what size weights to use because I have no idea. And I can't do it. I'm so unmotivated. I can walk my dogs because if you don't, that's dog abuse. So we do that. But I'm not motivated. I have the weights. They sit here and take up room in my house, but that's it. And so the other night I put on a YouTube video. It was like 10 minutes long, 10 minutes of an arm workout. And I picked up the 6-pound weights. I used to be able to use those back when there was civilization, and quickly discovered that they were too heavy. So I put them down. I stopped the video, put them down, went to get the 4-pound weights. I got the 4-pound weights, put the video back on, and I had to pee. So I stopped the video, went to pee. Second time stopping the video. And then my boyfriend texted me and was like, hey, do you want a video chat? And I was like, yes, absolutely. That sounds more important. I'm not doing anything. No, I don't know where that YouTube video went. It's somewhere in my search history. It's gone now. And I have to accept it. It's the worst. My fitness goal really is that whenever I get into bed with my boyfriend, I want to make sure that the mattress always goes down on his side. That's my to make sure that it goes down on his side, which means he's heavier than me, right? I'm 4'10". I can't be heavier than him. There's no excuse for that. But he's this live, lean guy with muscles who like does capoeira and climbs trees for a living. And I order Reese's cups and brownie mix to be delivered to my house from my bed. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. I didn't tell you guys about the brownie mix that happened too. I have a problem. It's bad. It's not great. So Ashley said that most of my stories have been about online dating that she's heard. And I used to tell many stories about it because it truly is terrible. And any of you who are coupled up right now, handcuff yourself to that person and just that's it. Don't try it. You don't want to. Nope. Coronavirus or not, I don't recommend it at all. And I had an experience with my last boyfriend before I met my boyfriend now. We broke up in a Mexican restaurant because I guess he wanted to see me cry over guacamole. And he looked at me. I'll never forget what he said. He looked at me and he goes, I'm really going to miss you because you're so capable. And folks, yeah, if there's ever an adjective that you don't want to be called by someone who has seen you naked, capable is that adjective, right? It doesn't even hit the top 250 positive adjectives you can possibly think of. And I was just like, capable. What is capable? Do you know what's capable? Kleenex is capable of handling all your flu-like symptoms. What else is capable? A Subaru Forester is capable of getting great gas mileage and going off-roading, right? What is the most capable vegetable? It's not cauliflower, by the way. It is spinach. Spinach is capable of regulating your digestive system, right? So I apparently am the spinach of girlfriends. And the good news is that my boyfriend now is vegan, so it all works out, right? It's really nice to be dating my boyfriend at our early middle age. I'm guessing we're early middle age. I'm 37, he's 41. And I'm not ready to call myself middle-aged, but I think we are. But the cool thing about dating someone at this age is that you really get to bond over things that you mutually hate. It's great. You have enough life experience. We had a 30-minute conversation once about other people's shitty driving. And it was great. It was almost as bonding as like having sex. It was awesome. And it was great. And right before last year, and I'll leave you guys with this because it was so creepy. Last year, we had first started dating, and he was like, I think the world's going to end because of a pandemic. Yeah. And I was like, okay, Nostradamus, whatever, you know, like, sure. I think the world's going to end because Donald Trump accidentally tweets out the nuclear launch codes. That's still going to happen, right? And he's very much like that. I am dating Nostradamus. He is very much like, just end it all. Humanity should be it. One time he was like, you know, everybody should just jump off a cliff into the sea like lemmings and let humanity restart because everything is fucked. That's what he said. I shouldn't have said that, but there you go. That's what he said. And I was like, babe, could you maybe not say that when I'm naked? Giving me a complex. But there's a pandemic. It's great. He was right. I'll tell him. Thank you so much. My name's Elisse Thompson.
Oh. Clap.
I think Ashley
Can't hear me at all.
There we go.
Guys, it's a struggle out here. I love Elisse. That's what I was saying when you couldn't hear me. Because she is done with the BS. It's wonderful. She's herself, and I love it. I'm really trying to be more true to myself. You know, I figure like I'm not here to be nice. I think it's high time that I really embrace the smart ass that I was always meant to be, you know, being true to myself. And so for that reason, I'm starting to answer questions like Jeopardy does. Stay with me. Everybody knows that in Jeopardy, the answer is in the form of a question. But have you ever noticed that the question's in the form of an answer? It's never like a good answer, right? It's always like a real smart-ass answer. Only the smart-ass would say the answer's on Jeopardy. So I'm starting to do that in my everyday life. You know, so for example, when my niece is like, who's O.J. Simpson? Oh, well, this USC running back was acquitted of double murder in 1995. You're welcome. You know, or the intern in the office is going through the mail and is like, what's a subpoena? Thanks for asking, Trevor. Latin for under penalty. You'll be under one if you don't comply with this court order. Yeah, it's fun, you know? Or like when my grandma worries what I've been up to and she's like, what is stand-up comedy anyways? That this form of entertainment involves mentally unstable humorists speaking directly to their audiences until they applaud or laugh, usually out of pity or sheer disgust. I'll wait. I'm just trying to say Alex Trebek is nicer than me, but not funny. Let's keep it moving. Next up, we have another comic who is also back from a recent trip abroad. Luckily, he wasn't in a coronavirus hotspot, just like a hot spot as far as. No, the next guy you got coming up is Jordan Hale, and he works for some kind of internet company. So if you're having any trouble watching this video, please direct all of your complaints to him. You can follow Jordan on Twitter at All Hale Comedy. We'll be sharing that like we have with all the other things in the YouTube comments. But without further ado, live from what I think is his kitchen in Chapel Hill, Jordan Hale.
Hello, everybody. It is from our kitchen. Very excited. Ashley was like, do you guys have anything to promote? Do you guys have anything to follow? And I was like, well, I guess I could give them my Twitter where I just get into verbal arguments with the Target support staff. So I guess I'm going to kill Steve at Target Twitter app. It's okay. It's been coming for a long time. Guys, I'm super honored to be a part of this. I love this show, not only because I get to perform for healthcare workers who, obviously, you guys don't need me to tell you this, you guys are heroes. That goes without saying. But if I'm being honest with you, I just put on pants for the first time in 14 days. So I'm also a hero. So we're all, it really means a lot to me. No, I really do love doing a charity show. They're so much fun for me because it doesn't matter if you bomb a charity show, you're still a good person. Nobody ever asks like, oh, how'd you do in the charity show? You just tell them you did a show and they're like, wow. You're a better person than I thought. And you're right. I am a better person than you thought. Who is hopefully watching this on the YouTube app. This is actually one of my first digital shows, and a lot of my fellow comedians have been having trouble transitioning to digital comedy. They find that they miss the immediate feedback, they miss the laughing audiences, but I'm very proud to say that I never got used to hearing laughing audiences. So boom! I suck at this. Guys, this is a great show. I'm really excited. In case you were wondering, this is a new haircut. I got a fresh cut today. If you like it, please sound off in the YouTube comments. Everybody's super nice on YouTube. I want to warn you before you tell me you hate it. A hero did cut this for me. My girlfriend, who is riling up our dog right now. My girlfriend is a nurse. She cut my hair, and obviously that makes her a hero, and everything she does is a hero. But I don't need to tell you guys this. These are trying times for everybody, not just for her because she's risking her life and limb every time she goes out to the hospital, but these are trying times for me because I have lost every single argument we've gotten into since lockdown. You know who has the moral weight in an argument between a person saving lives and a guy that hasn't worn pants in 14 days? It's the hero every single time. We have been quarantined together. I've been trying to take it very seriously. I haven't really left the apartment in 17 days, which is giving us so much more time together, which is a statement. Solo activities have morphed into fun couple activities that I didn't even know could be made better by the presence of another person. Like, did you know that Twitter is so much more fun when somebody is reading over your shoulder and telling you how to read Twitter? Babe, who's that? Who's that? Oh, let me read that. You know them? Oh, is that a cute puppy? Let me see the puppy. Let me see the puppy. Let me see the puppy. Do you not think the puppy's cute? Do you not think I'm cute? This is happening at 2 a.m., people. Death is certain. Seriously, all jokes aside, our relationship is stronger than it's ever been. We did just celebrate our 1-year anniversary. I'm assuming everybody's cheering, clapping, going nuts. It's fine. I also love interracial relationships. It's going so great. She, for our 1-year anniversary, got me this smartwatch, which is great. I love it because now, in addition to my girlfriend calling me a fat ass, a little robot watch calls me a fat ass. It's tight. Every hour it tells me to get up and stop playing video games. I'm getting bullied by 2 people. And for my side of the deal, I took her to a very authentic 1950s diner. So authentic that they immediately asked me to leave when I walked in. Hey, sorry, buddy, you get out of here. Very authentic. No, but to be honest, for our 1-year anniversary, we did like Ashley mentioned, we traveled to Nicaragua, which was super cool, super great. I learned so much about myself. You know, I learned that I can sit in a hammock. I learned that I can fall out of a hammock. I learned that I can struggle to get back into that hammock. I really did a lot of things. But the craziest thing we did in Nicaragua was we went scuba diving. And there were two things I learned about myself while scuba diving. One, you can throw up above water. And then two, you can throw up underwater because you're still seasick and it's only going to get worse. And I know the question that's probably coursing through YouTube right now is, which is worse, throwing up underwater or above water? This is going to surprise you guys, but it's actually above water. Throw up underwater, it's fine. It goes through the filter. Fish come up to your mouth. It's a very bonding experience for you and the fish. You throw up outside the water, at the top of the water. You're wearing a life jacket, so you're just kind of in the middle of nowhere. You're bobbing back and forth, floating around, and you start to vomit, which is obviously gross, but you're not anchored to anything, so you start to spin in a circle, propelled by your own vomit, which is disgusting. And then when you're done, you come back to the vomit in the water, which is horrible, which makes you sick, which makes you throw up again. So you spin. You see where I'm going with this? You spin, you see the vomit, you vomit. This goes on for 20 punishing minutes. But I gotta say, guys, Nicaragua is dope. It sounds terrible when I describe it, but it's super great. I actually am super happy about my relationship, not just because she's within punching distance of me right now, but I am really happy that, like everybody's mentioned, I'm not doing online dating right now. Online dating never went great for me. And I know what you're thinking. Jordan, you're 5'6", kind of chubby and awkward. Tinder wasn't good to you? And I'm like, hey, it's crazy. I do miss Tinder. Babe, please don't take a swig at me. I do miss Tinder because I got the best stories out of it. One time I was on Tinder and I did this show. I did this show. I went to a show, did Sam's show. I got on Tinder. I matched with a nice lady and we were talking, we were chatting back and forth. And eventually she goes, hey, this is going to sound weird, but did you do stand-up tonight at Full Steam Brewery? Woo! She goes, this is going to sound weird, but did you do stand-up tonight at Full Steam Brewery? And I went, yeah, that was me. I was on stage. And she said, cool. And then she unmatched with me. Yeah, baby. I don't know what joke I'm telling that makes people lose all sexual attraction to me, but if I had to guess, it's probably this next one. Who decides in Target if the mannequins get nipples? Right? Like, it's not uniform. It's not every Target. It's not every mannequin. Is there just some horned up stage employee in the back that's just like, listen, we're going to use sex to sell? Because, buddy, I can promise you, I'm already rock hard. Because of the savings. All right, coming up on my time. I'm going to leave on this last note. There's something disgusting on my mouth. How long was that there? Oh. I hate quarantine. I'm going to leave you guys with this last thought. I really do love doing comedy. It's my life's passion, blah, blah, blah. It's the only thing that will take me, blah, blah, blah. But I do find that comedy is kind of rough for dating, for romance, because it's the least sensual form of art. And let me explain. If you write a poem for your girlfriend or your boyfriend, whatever, I don't care what you're into. If you write a poem for your partner, they'll be like, you're right. My eyes are limpid pools of beauty. Thank you. That's beautiful. You write a song for your girl and she's like, you're right. The boys are back in town. Thank you. That's so beautiful. But I try and write one joke about the time my girl sharted in an Uber, blamed the Uber driver, and all of a sudden I'm ruining Grandma's birthday party. All right. My name is Jordan Hale. Please follow me on Twitter. I will bring justice to Steve at Target at Twitter. Thank you.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much, Jordan. Everybody, please do follow Jordan on Twitter and finally get to the end of this Target saga, see how it continues post-Rona. Looking forward to it. Folks, I have to pause and give some shout outs because our audience is straight up killing it. Thank you all so much for following your lovely instructions and lighten up the comments on YouTube. We love to see particularly the sideways tear laughing guy. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Janet. Wow. Cyrus, mega contributor to the comments. We really appreciate it. It seems dumb sometimes, but it's how we can sleep at night because we're in constant fear that no one likes us. So we really have. Yeah, thanks. I hope I didn't spoil anybody's punchlines by being ahead of you guys in the real world, because our broadcast is a bit delayed, kind of like real television, I guess. I don't know. Thank you all for keeping it lit in the comments. And also, thank you all so much for donating. Guys, you guys are blowing us away. So thank you to those who have been able to hit us up on Venmo, and we really appreciate it. Thanks, Timothy, David, Ellie, Anjani, John, Ron John. Oh, John and Ron John. We got them both. Emily, Ryan, Maura. I could go on. Somebody named Button. Awesome. Thanks. Every bit helps. We're so glad to be able to share this support with the healthcare workers that, again, I have the pleasure of working with. So thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Cyrus is thrilled that we said his name. You're welcome. Anyway, yeah, so again, just thanks. We're blown away. We'll keep things moving. Jordan did say that his girl's a hero before negging her, I guess. I don't know. And can you imagine, it must be really hard for them right now. I just can't even fathom in a time like this dating a freaking comedian. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. Anyway, I think after you hear what our next comic has to say, she will be your hero too. So coming up next, the funniest nurse could not be fired from the emergency department yet. Meredith Armstrong, everybody.
Hello. Yes, I have my IT guy here because on my screen because I was super ambitious. I'm not only going to do comedy, I'm also going to walk you through some tips and tricks for how to survive in the emergency department. Speaking of the emergency department, let me just shout out APOD, where you at, APOD? Shout out CEU, shout out Nurse First, shout out to Triage, shout out all the pods, CPOD, shout out to PEU. I don't know if you're watching, but you know what? Shout out to those emergency department staff members. I hope you can see my screen getting ready here. I also just want to say that the transition into digital comedy shows also was a pretty smooth one for me because in my head there's always hundreds of people laughing at my jokes. I don't need but I do thank you for being here. So I'm just gonna start clicking here. So I have prepared a little presentation for you because I am in the emergency room every day. So I know how it works, but not everybody does. So I just wanted to, for the lay person who might be thinking oh my God, am I gonna find myself in the emergency department? I just compiled some tips for you. So tip number 1, call 911. This is not the beginning of my slide. This is IT guy, what are you doing?
Getting fired.
There. Okay. So these are just tips for how to behave in the right. And as you can see, I am a registered nurse, and I am so tired. So tired. Tips and tricks to help you get the most excellent, expedient care from your emergency medicine providers. Probably you're going to come into the emergency room. You're going to start in the waiting room. What is the number one word in the word waiting? The word wait. Why would you want to wait? There's probably a bunch of sick people. They're touching everything. They're coughing on everything. Just, who knows how old they are? So my first tip for you to get the best out of the emergency department, call 911. Skip the line. We have these Uber XXL CPR vans. Some of you might call them an ambulance. No matter what, they have to come get you. And I don't know what you're thinking. Now is the perfect time to get that yard work done. Move those boxes around all by yourself because you're in quarantine. Oh no, now you got back pain? Oh shoot. Get in there. We got all the good drugs. We got all the fluids. You know what'll fix your back pain? Fluids. You know what'll fix everything? Fluids. Demand fluids. Especially if this problem you're going to the emergency room for has been going on for a long time, or there's no way it's going to put your life in danger, the best thing you can do is call 911 right off the bat. That will make the nurses take you more seriously. That decreases your wait time. Sometimes they put that nurse out in triage. Boom. Boom. She will see that you've been having this knee pain for 6 months, and who knows how long you're going to have to wait. Sometimes they'll take those life-threatening patients back before you. And I know what you're thinking. Even Denny's has a better system. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was working at a Denny's. Can I get flu-like symptoms, party of 5? Oh, you got the whole family here? Come on down. My next tip. All right, I put too many spins. If you do call an ambulance and they, for some reason, put you in the waiting room, don't worry. Just make sure. My next tip, make sure you remind them how long you've been there. Now, there's a couple of nuances to this. Go up to the nurse's station. Add at least 45 minutes to the time that you checked in, because otherwise they're never going to take you seriously. And they don't track this thing. I mean, they don't know how long you've been there. Only you know how long you've been there. Also, if this has been going on for a long time, add that to your wait time. That's your true wait time, not the time you got to the ER. This toenail has been hurting. Since you've been having toe pain, that's your true wait time. That's a tip. That's a tip that those nurses, you're gonna go up there, you're gonna tell them your real wait time is 6 months. They're gonna say, wow. I really like these spinning graphics. Jordan helped me do that one. I did it again. Once again, these tips are most important if you're coming to the emergency room and your life is not in danger. Now, if you're not breathing and you don't have a pulse, you won't have to use any of these tips. You'll be taken straight back to it. Now, your visit is over. How are you going to get home? You called an ambulance. Now, hopefully you will have posted that hospital bracelet on Instagram, and one of your thousands of followers, or maybe several, will be crowding the door trying to come in and pick you up when you're done. If for some reason that doesn't happen, you can just ask those paramedics to take you home. They're not doing anything. You're only a quick 32-minute drive away. You skipped over those other hospitals because you knew you had to go to the best hospital in North Carolina. No other hospital will do. A wambulance. Okay, yeah, back to remind them how long you've been there. Again, if you are breathing without difficulty, if you are circulating blood throughout your body and you're not bleeding out, that nurse has no idea how long you've been there. It is your job to go tell them. Tip number 3, make sure to tell the staff exactly how to do their job. How will they know what to do if you don't tell them? It's your body. Also, if you're having abdominal pain, remember that time that friend of your cousin in Florida had her gallbladder out? Get them on the phone. They'll know what to do. I don't know how fast y'all are at reading. Am I going? Another surefire way to get better care in the emergency department is for more drugs. We've got plenty of morphine. We've got enough fentanyl to put down a horse, and you deserve it. You gotta be. If I wanted to take ibuprofen or Tylenol, I would have taken it at home and put an ice pack on it. Crazy idea. Never, ever, ever try to fix it yourself. If you try to fix this problem yourself at home, it might get better. And then the nurses will never know how much it hurt in the first place. Especially in these trying times, they're making a lot of people leave mess. You might not even get to see a real doctor face to face. You deserve better. Number 6. As you get to the emergency department, you need to let them know how long it's been since you've eaten. Now, some people might say, you can go 21 days without food. Not this person, not today. It's actually already been 20 and a half days. Let them know 20 and a half days you haven't had anything and you are about to die. You're about to starve to death if you don't get something to eat. And what do we have to offer you? I love the spinning ones. Oh, just one more time. Okay. What do we have to offer you? A delicious, gourmet, handcrafted turkey. This is another one. And as we wrap up here, we're getting into these high level interventions. The whole reason you chose this hospital is because you're a personal friend of the CEO. There is absolutely nothing that gets you quicker, better care at any hospital than when you threaten to call your family member, church family, sister's cousin, sister's wife, friend that you met in the grocery store one time. You go ahead, call that number, leave those voicemails, send an email. it's best to do this as early as possible in the process. If you register in the emergency room, that's the time to let them know. You know there's a charge nurse and you know there's a supervisor, and they better come talk to you to make sure you get the absolute best care. This has just been like a brief overview of how to get the best care in the emergency department, how to make my job easier, and how to make your visit more enjoyable for both of us. So thank you so much. And you know what? I just want to say there's been a lot of people calling me a hero. And a hero I may be, but nobody's perfect. So.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, Meredith. I think we don't need any more like TED Talks. I think that's all this country needs at this point. Just that one presentation ought to fix a lot of things. Yeah, and I only have like one thing to add. You know, there's been a lot of debate going on in politics and healthcare and stuff. You know, some people want Medicare for all. Everybody agrees that the system that we have can be improved. Some candidates are saying like worried because the other candidates want to kick you off your healthcare plan or say that you're gonna like lose your doctor. Just a few points on that. I'm wondering like, will there be some kind of warning before this doctor rapture that's coming? Or is the sky just going to open up and just all the good doctors are going to get sucked up? Just trying to figure out how the logistics are going to work. And there are some people who like their doctors. Not me. Mine says that he can cause cancer, so I'm off of him. There are people like that. But I have never, ever met a single person that just loves their health insurance company. And we all know this. It's a fact. If there are people, let's just entertain the possibility. Like if there are people who are so in love with their health insurance company that they're afraid of losing it, they're like the real like 1.1%. Okay. You know, and the other 99.9% of us would rather suffer through pretty much anything, you know, like a giant bowl of that weird like cranberry cream cheese salad that the in-laws for Thanksgiving. Like I'd rather eat my fair serving of that than pick up the phone and dial Blue Shield. I'm just saying, I'm wide open to improvements to our healthcare system. Guys, folks, we've almost made it. You've been live streaming, I don't know, 73 minutes or so of internet comedy, and I'm so proud of you. And you know, I could probably fit in a few more shout outs. So thanks for everybody that's been joining us online, folks that have donated, Lee, Sarah, Hannah. Gosh, Button still comes up, which I just love. Name. I wish I have like the least interesting name on the planet. Somebody asked me how they could find this video on YouTube if they were watching it on their TV, which caused me to search YouTube for Ashley Phillips's. It was unsuccessful, and I know what I look like. But thank you all for tuning in. Just only thing that's left here is your amazing headliner. I don't have much to say about him. Jeremy Alder is basically the nicest guy in comedy, and that's not a joke. You can check him out at jeremyalder.com to find videos and links to his social media and whatnot. But without further ado, let's turn it over to Jeremy Alder. Woo! Let's see. Here we go. Take it away.
Hey! Hello. Hey, everybody. Good to see y'all. Welcome to my kitchen. This is the ideal comedy situation. Give it up for Ashley Phillips, your host, and one who put this all together. All the comics you saw tonight, let's give it up for them. I'm going to be watching the comments, making sure you're giving it up for them. As soon as I see everybody give it up, we will get started. Still a few people holding out. Let's give it up. Can we get the, nope. There's 63 of you in here, and I've only seen 3 people give it up. So we've got time. All right. Gosh, this is great. I was really excited to do this show. It is an honor to be raising money for healthcare workers right now. Please donate. It's really important right now. Our country's response to this situation is actually entirely dependent on us right now, because our government has so royally fucked it up. So if you don't donate, that's it. So I'm just gonna check real quick the comments, make sure people are donating. Just give a thumbs up or like a cash money sign if you've donated, how much you've donated. And as soon as we get to $500 million, which should cover what we need, I'm gonna finish this set. So. Looks like we're gonna be here a while. You guys, I am. This is crazy. Doing comedy on the internet is insane. It's really pretty fantastic that we can do this. I don't know if y'all know that, but back in the early 1900s, during the Spanish flu epidemic, remote comedy shows had to be carried out entirely through the U.S. mail, which meant it wasn't very good. You had to wait weeks for a punchline, and all the comics were men. And as you know, men are not very funny. Y'all saw Tony and Jordan earlier. So thankfully, women have picked up the slack and also brought us into the technological age so we can do this. And I'm really happy about that. I'm a little suspicious of technology, I'll be honest with you. I was homeschooled the whole way through. So, don't know a lot of things about technology or science, or math or history, English, whatever the other subjects are. But I do feel I'm excited. Like, I feel like this is our time to shine as homeschoolers. I feel like, the one thing that I did learn as a homeschooler is how to be alone. And I feel like I'm nailing it right now. So, thank you, Mom and Dad, for that. I do wish, one thing I've been thinking about a lot as I've been socially isolating is I wish I was good at drugs. Not very good at drugs, and it would be cool to be good at drugs right now, I think. I tried drugs when I was in college, and I don't know. I felt like I was happy before I took them, and then after I took them, I was just scared, and I wasn't even doing them right. When I did finally learn how to smoke weed correctly, I feel like it was just worse. I felt like I was I was dying, like I was gonna, like I was having a heart attack. And so I stopped doing drugs correctly and went back to doing it wrong so that I could still look cool to my friends, but not feel like I was gonna die. I bought weed. I bought weed once, and it wasn't until I was in my 30s, and it wasn't for me. It was for my older brother, who's really good at drugs. Yeah, he's like got his 10,000 hours. Like he's nailing it because he went to public school. So so he was coming to visit from Texas, where I'm from, and he called me up. He was like, "Hey, I don't want to bring my supply on the airplane, so can you get us some for the weekend?" And I was like, "Of course, like you're my brother. I will commit a crime for you." So I immediately, Googled weed near me. How to buy drugs. I eventually figured out that I got a number from a friend of mine who's unemployed and lives with his mom, and he was like, "Just tell the guy that you know me." And so so I called the guy up, and I'm like, "Hey," he was real nice. I was like, "I'm a friend of so and so. I'd like to purchase some marijuana pot, the real stuff." And of course, the first question was, "Well, how much do you need?" And I remembered that my brother had told me to get between a quarter and a half. And so I did some quick homeschool math in my head, and I go, "Can I get a third?" If you're not laughing right now, that's fine. Means you're definitely not a drug addict, so that's good. Turns out, you guys, in weed math, there are no thirds. There's no thirds. There's eighths, quarters, halves, and then I guess you can just buy the whole thing. You can buy a whole one. If your whole family, why not? Just get a whole one. So I'm like, "Can I get a third?" And he goes, "I don't think I can do that." And my first thought is, oh, right. He's a drug dealer, probably not very good at fractions. I'll help him. So I go, "Oh, no, man, you can do it. Just take one whole one and divide it into 3 pieces. And I'll buy one of them and you keep the rest." And again, he goes, "I don't think I can do that, man. You've never done this before, have you?" And I was like, "No, I've never done this before. I've never bought drugs. I really don't know what I'm doing." And he was like, "Well, what are you trying to do?" And so I was like, "Well, I'm trying to get some for me and my brother for the weekend." And he said, "Get between a quarter and a half." And the guy immediately goes, "Oh, bro, so you need 3/8." Turns out that in public school math, 3/8 is exactly between a quarter and a half, you guys. In weed math too, actually. So long story short, anyway, $500 $500. I got 3/8 a weed of marijuana. A lesson in fractions and a new fund. So feeling pretty good about things. I've got kids. I don't know if anybody out there has kids, but I've got 4 kids. I've got 4 boys, 4 sons, and I love it. Love being a dad. It's my favorite thing. They're all in the basement right now, so you can't hear them. But not a finished basement. But lights are out, so they're quiet. I love it. I love being a dad. I feel like being a father has taught me a lot of things. Kids do that. Like I've got 2 teenagers, and we had the sex talk not too long ago. And you guys, I tell you what, I learned so much. Incredible stuff. All these things I want to try now. Starting with condoms, I think. I'm going to be looking very strongly into those pretty quickly. I don't know. It is great. My youngest is 10 now, and he's my favorite because he's the best one. And by the way, if you don't think that your parents had favorites, I mean, you weren't it, I guess. He's great. I love him. He's a lot of fun. He just finished his first season. Well, before the Corona hit, we were finishing up our first season of basketball with the Y, and I got to be his coach, which was a blast. I'll show you a picture. See, there we are. That's my boy right there. That's my boy. And I don't know if you can tell which coach is me. It's actually this one. We had a good time. And that's actually a lot of the kids are missing in this picture. But it was a lot of fun. I had never been a coach before. And it was wild. I mean, if you've ever coached youth sports, you know, it's really something. We actually had a little boy with special needs on our team, I think. I got an email from the Y telling me that they were going to be placing a little boy with special needs on my team, and I was like, cool, great. Like, I was really excited to have him. A little concerned about how he was going to fit in with the rest of the kids, because I knew kids can be mean to people who are different. But he actually he fit in really, really well. And I know this because we got to the last game of the season, and I realized I never figured out which little boy it was. I don't know if you've ever seen 10-year-olds all playing basketball together for the first time. It felt like it could be any of them. Maybe half the time I was like, oh, it's my kid. That actually makes the most sense. Okay. See what you did there, YMCA. So it was a fun season. I don't know, where do we want to go? I don't know how much time I have left, but I do want to say that I have a dog. My kids have been asking for a dog for a long time, and I finally got one, and I'm going to show him to you guys real quick. This is Hank. I just woke him up, so he's a little disoriented. Yeah, Hank doesn't think I'm very funny. But I love him anyway. He's Hank's a good dog. I did not. Hank's not a rescue, and you can probably tell because he's pretty emotionally stable and not a lot of baggage. Came from a good 2-parent family. And went to private school. He's a good kid. I tried to adopt. I wanted to adopt. I wanted to rescue. I wanted to adopt a rescue. I tried. I applied to 2 different animal shelters for a dog and got turned down by both. Which I don't know if you've ever been turned down by an animal shelter before, but you will rethink your life. Because basically what they said was, you know what, Mr. Bojangles here would be better off dead or homeless. Home with you. So I was like, I'm not gonna do this. Also, I didn't want to be one of those rescue people. I mean, God bless you all, but get over yourselves. I'm serious. Like, unless you pulled that dog out of a burning building or a car wreck or a rushing river, you didn't rescue shit. You bought a used dog. Nothing wrong with that. I think I've only ever bought used cars, and I think that that's a great investment. But I did buy Hank here, and I realized pretty quickly that that was the right move, because I think you appreciate things more when you pay for them. You know what I mean? Like I've spent, I don't know, a couple $100 getting Hank vaccinated, and I don't even vaccinate my kids, so like that was a big investment. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I definitely would never vaccinate my dog. I wouldn't. He was too expensive. I can't afford the autism right now. Can't do it. So he's unvaccinated, but it's fine. I probably need to wrap this up, and so let me just talk about what really got me into comedy in the first place. And that is talking about something near and dear to my heart. And that is erectile dysfunction. Guys out there, if you've ever experienced erectile dysfunction, just raise your hand or in the comments. Let me see. Thumbs up. Some indication that you're with me, that you've experienced erectile dysfunction. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot in the comments. I know we've got 61 people in here. Let's say half of them are men. I'm gonna say that at least 30 to 40% of you probably wanted to raise your hand or give me a thumbs up, but you couldn't get it up for whatever reason. And that's fine. No judgment there. Maybe you've been drinking. Maybe you're on a first date and you're nervous and just couldn't get it up, and that's fine. I respect that. No judgment. I realized recently that the worst time to experience ED is when you're in the middle of it, and you're round to third base and you're heading home, and then your guy just heads into the slide and lays down, and you panic a little bit, because you just kind of like slide out and hope she doesn't notice. And then your first instinct is to like put it back in, right? Just like put it back in there and just keep going. And the problem with that is it never works. You can't. Once it lays down and falls out, you can't get it back in. I don't know if you've ever pulled the string all the way out of your hoodie, right? Or out of your sweatpants if you're not wearing a hoodie, out of your sweatpants. You ever pulled your string all the way out of your hoodie and then tried to put it back in the same hole that it came out of? Doesn't work. It doesn't go. You keep trying, it just wads up in a little ball in your hand. And you do it long enough, and eventually your hoodie's just like, you know what? I got to get up early for work anyway. Like, we can just try again tomorrow, right? I don't know. Do we want to end on that? Where am I on time? Seriously, I don't want to.
Does that seem like a good place to leave it? Okay, really?
One more joke. All right, let's keep going. All right. All right, where do we want to end this? Gosh, All right, so I talked about my youngest son earlier, my favorite one, and he's been doing this one thing that I don't like, and that is when I put him to bed at night, he likes to ask me a lot of questions when I'm trying to leave, so that he can keep me talking, so that he can stay up later, and then they're like he's a pretty smart kid, so they're like pretty challenging questions, like where did the universe come from, Dad? Or what happens after we die? Or, how come mommy's boyfriend can grow a beard and you can't? Like, stuff that keeps you up at night. And the other night he was like, hey, Dad, do you think God is a mommy or a daddy? And I've been pretty tired of his shit for a while. And so this is what I told him. I was like, buddy, I think God is both a mommy and a daddy. You see, I think during Jesus' time, I think God was probably a daddy. And that's because after he finished making his special little boy, he left him for some other man to raise. And daddies do that sometimes, statistically. But I think before that, like if we go way back, like during Noah's time, I think God was probably a mommy. And that's because after she finished making all the boys and girls in the world, she got really, really sad. And she drowned them all. Mommies do that sometimes. Statistically. Good night. I think that's my time. You guys have been great. Give Ashley all your money.
Oh my God. Guys, give it up for Jeremy Alder. And in whatever way you like. Wow. I hope everyone's children are asleep at this point. Guys, thank you all so much. That's our show. Special shout out to the folks that stuck through to the end of the show to make sure it's really worth their while before donating. They wanted to know they were getting their money's worth. So, Pavel, Matt, Carrie, Thanks for waiting till the last minute. It still counts. I know some of you baby boomers just couldn't figure out Venmo, but you persevered. So proud of you. But in all seriousness though, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you. I can't say it enough. Thank you so much for your donations. It's amazing. Some of you guys have sent really encouraging messages with your donations, and just whether you're donating or not. I've really appreciated hearing what you all have to say about how you're so thankful for the healthcare workers that are out here. So I hope you guys had some fun. Let us know in the comments how you heard about this if you're still with us, and we'll make sure that you hear about it if we do another show like this in the future. So that's it for us. Thanks again, and